Welcome to the Art of Spirit, a collective reading. Today we are utilizing the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck by Matt Hughes. Before we jump into the reading, I would like to just let you know that whenever this reading is recorded and posted is not necessarily when you will find this reading. If you are already familiar with collective readings you can find online, you already may know this, but for those that don't, a reading will find you when it's meant to find you. The message is not time sensitive. It exists outside of the realm of time, and when you are ready to receive it, it will present itself to you. If there is anything in the video that does not resonate with you, then let that portion of the message fall to the wayside, as it was likely meant for somebody else. For the things that do resonate with you, allow it to reaffirm what you already know to be within your intuition to be true. Please don't waste time doubting whether it's an accurate message or not, especially when you feel it in your gut that it is. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. We have the Four of Swords here, indicating a time of rest, rejuvenation, and meditation. Now, we spoke in depth in our last collective reading about meditation and how meditation helps you realign with your higher self, helps you realign your spirit and raise your vibration, and in that way you acquire balance and you acquire honestly anything that you want. So because we discussed that in the last video, I'm really going to focus on the rest and rejuvenation portion of this message regarding the Four of Swords. The rest is really probably presenting itself to you now as something as simple or as silly as sleeping in the morning and hitting the snooze button over and over again. Some of you may be people like myself who do that on the regular, and you'll notice that during this time you are doing it to a greater extent, meaning you're doing it more frequently or you're doing it for longer periods of time. And for those that never do this, that are very punctual, that set one alarm, or I'm getting even those who set no alarm, that you have an internal clock and you just are able to wake up, you're going to find yourself during this time needing to sleep in. And if you really are trying to avoid that because you have places to be and you are under some sort of time constraint, I recommend that you go to sleep significantly earlier than you usually do to get in that extra rest. Or alternatively, I recommend that you take naps throughout the day. It doesn't have to be long naps. You don't have to get into your bed. Just any comfortable position, and 10 or 15 minutes will suffice. This is a time where, as we also discussed in the last video, there is a lot of chaos going on around us. And it's not just chaos, but there's a lot of moving parts. We are in a time of transition, and I don't want to jump too far ahead into the reading, so I'm really going to slow it down and bring it back to the rest portion. I really would love for you to focus on getting extra rest, going to bed earlier, sleeping in later, and taking naps throughout the day. If you are actively almost rebelling against this message, and it's not the message, but actively rebelling against the advisement that a spirit is bringing to you regarding acquiring more rest, then what you will find is that the universe will provide it for you, and not in a magical sense where nothing happens and you suddenly feel more rested or more restful, but in the sense that you burn out and you get sick, or you start to fall asleep at inconvenient times, in inconvenient ways, in uncomfortable positions, instead of planning it, or not really planning it, but as the moment arises and going with that inspiration and taking that quick nap, or going with the inspiration to get in bed earlier or snooze in the morning later. If you go against it, what happens is that your body is going to feel exhausted, and it's going to fall asleep at random times, or won't want you to wake up when you are asleep. Alternatively, you'll find yourself, if you're avoiding rest, you'll find yourself, I don't want to I don't want to speak negativity, but the truth is that it'll find a way. And so if it's not going to be because you planned on it, or because your body is falling asleep at random times in random places, it'll then be instead that you've burnt out, your immune system was weakened, and you picked up some sort of cold or flu-like virus, and or could be other things along those lines that will force you to stay in bed and stay home and get the rest that you so desperately need. That rest isn't just a physical rest, that is like the secondary component to it. It's a spiritual rest, because when you do sleep, your body is in this almost meditative state. You're stopping all momentum, including negative momentum in your life, and you're allowing your vibration to rise and meet and realign rather with your higher self. When you awaken, depending upon where you allow your thoughts to go, is how you set the tone for the day. So if you awaken and you think back to all that has been stressing you out and all that has been aggravating you or upsetting you, angering you, depressing you, then you'll go right back into that negative spiral. But you still will have benefited from the relief and the break of that momentum as you slept. So that's why sleeping is so important. That's why even naps are very important. And honestly, that's why I believe depressed people sleep so frequently. So, yes, while it would be best if you planned to fall asleep and to get in those extra naps, your body will find a way to do it for you. And in scenarios where you're not falling asleep and you're unpredictably, and you're not getting sick, there's also the scenario where you are, you have a list of things to do, whether it is go to work, run errands. If you're running your own business, you have tons of things that you need to get done for yourself or for your clients. Regardless of what it is, you have a plan to do many things. There can be something that comes up, and that can be any type of unique event. You would know as it would come, and you think back to this message. But basically, things arise and prevent you from doing all of those things. And what it will do is it will slow you down, and you'll think and back to, okay, I should have just slowed my roll. I should have relaxed. I should have taken it easy, and things would have turned out differently. But as they are, you can't go back and change them. All you can do is, in this moment and moving forward, take the advice of getting in that rest, slowing down, and rejuvenating your spirit, because in that rest you will realign with your higher self. So that is the message for the Four of Swords today. The next card we have is the Judgment card. The Judgment card really does speak to this absolution, this renewal, a rebirth. It's basically a new chapter for you, but not just a new chapter where, you're just turning the page. You're shedding parts of yourself. You're shedding something from your past. You're shedding negative versions of lower vibrational versions of yourself and of the people around you. This does not necessarily mean that you will be losing anybody in your life, although it could. This does not necessarily mean that you will be changing a path, although it could. But it is a rebirth into something new, and it can be a continuation that looks different. For example, if you are staying in your job, this can look like a promotion. This could look like a raise. If you are staying in a relationship, this could look like a different relationship with the same person. And if it's not an intimate relationship, if it's like friendships, if it's your community, you could be around the same people and develop new dynamics with them. Healthy and happy. This is certainly a healthy, happy, exciting time. Definitely something to reflect on, and definitely the rest that we spoke about previously is setting you up for what is to come in this new phase of your life. The next card that we have here is the Page of Wands. Now, the Page of Wands can talk about travel. However, I feel it's relating more to exploring, and exploring doesn't necessarily have to be like, the exploration doesn't have to be a physical exploration. You don't have to go on an expedition, on a trip, but it can be exploring new avenues metaphorically in your life. And this definitely does speak to the new chapter that we just spoke about. It is definitely a creative energy. So you, excuse me, you would be exploring in a way almost as you explored as a child. You didn't necessarily go physically to many places, but rather in your mind and, well, what was in your spirit, but you may not have realized. You explored different dimensions, different timelines, different possibilities, and in that exploration, you really carved out a future for yourself. It is as we grow into adulthood and in this society that doesn't really cultivate spirituality, doesn't really cultivate creativity in the way that some of us would like, it kind of extinguishes that thought process. But in those senses, it was almost a sixth sense rather, where you would go in your mind and your spirit and your heart. That is where that feeling, that energy will take you to the next place. That's how you will explore what is next for you. It can really be something physical. You can be making a move, exploring a new country, a new state, even a new town, or even just a new job. But I really do think that this is more of an exploration of the spirit of the mind for you, and this is going to, as it spoke to the Judgment card, going to be something that's new for you. This is not going to be, or maybe rather, a return to what it was in childhood for you. The next card that was pulled was the King of Swords. Now, the King of Swords is an interesting energy. It is very, the word stubborn is coming up, but it's kind of unfair to say. It's a authoritative energy, but it has a sense of control, a sense of boundaries, and I think that that is something that is an energy that is necessary for those of you who are listening and are resonating with the message of renewal, of exploration. There is also going to be this balance with not a rigid energy, but a balance of like a disciplined energy where you can do it in a productive way, where the days, the weeks, the months aren't slipping through your fingers. You can find that you can still be this spiritual person who is led by your intuition, by your emotions, by your alignment, and your vibration. You can be led by those things and still possess a sense of discipline that will help move you forward, that will help catapult you into the next and the next and the next. So that is the King of Swords. The next card that was pulled is the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is one of my favorite cards, and it can mean a variety of things. Generally speaking, it is joy, it is nostalgia, but it's also reunion. And this reunion can be anything. It can be an old friend returning. It can be an old love returning. It can be a reunion of self, if you really want to look at it like that, especially of your inner child, because this energy does have this innocence attached to it. It's very childlike, but in the most beautiful sense, honestly. I wish I could describe it to you. When I think of the Six of Cups in my own mind, I'm taken to specific childhood memories. And in that sense, I really do feel that you will be reuniting not just with a friend, but this friend has lover energy, divine counterpart energy. It is certainly a reunion with your counterpart, and that can be a soulmate or a twin flame. If you're interested in the differences between the two, I highly recommend that you do some more research online to figure that out. But either connection, they're both beautiful connections, and they're both life-changing in my opinion. The Six of Cups is definitely speaking to our next card that has been pulled, and the next card is the Emperor. The Emperor is a representative of the divine masculine. It's this divine masculine energy of, the father, of the caretaker. He's able to calm chaos, and he offers authoritative guidance. He's a leader, he's a protector, and he can be ruthless if the situation or the scenario or the energy calls for it. However, he doesn't frequently go there. A man who is in his divine masculine energy is really structured. He is compartmentalized. He can be a little domineering. However, he is successful, and when he is paired with, going back to the the Six of Cups energy, this reunion. So if he is reuniting with his divine feminine, his Empress, then those characterizations that can seem intimidating are so well balanced with the divine feminine, the Empress. It is something that can be really beautiful. And as some of you may already know, divine feminine and divine masculine may not necessarily indicate gender. It may not necessarily indicate your biological sex, but it indicates in your spirit you are predominantly, while you have aspects of both within your own self, you are predominantly one or the other. So you can be a woman with predominantly masculine energy, so you could be the divine masculine, and it doesn't have to relate to your gender identity. It doesn't have to relate. You can be a woman who identifies as a woman and still be the divine masculine counterpart. It doesn't indicate sexuality either. Just however it resonates with you, take that as it goes. And please understand that when I speak to either or, it is not necessarily regarding your sex or your gender or your sexuality. However, like I said, the Emperor reuniting with his Empress, the Empress is this, and though we didn't pull the Empress, I'll speak to her anyway. She is the mother. She is the manifestation of creation, of divine femininity. She is abundant. She is, the nature is her. And so she would be in tune with nature and love and pleasure, and with coupling that with the divine masculine, who is this structured presence, you really can have something beautiful blossom between the two. And so that is something that may be appearing in your life, whether you identify as the divine masculine. The message is that you are coming into union likely soon with the divine feminine, and if you are the divine feminine, the masculine will be appearing to you in an unpredictable manner. I don't know why I'm getting that a specific message, because it's not in the cards. However, the divine masculine will be presenting himself to you in this unpredictable way, where you weren't expecting him to present himself. The next card that we have here is the Three of Cups, and the Three of Cups is speaking to this community that will be, it's a spiritual community for you. And if you don't have one currently, if you don't find yourself in the presence of others like you who are spiritually minded, who are spiritually gifted, or who are seeking, maybe you aren't spiritually minded or gifted at this point in time, but you are seeking knowledge about it and information about it, you are going to be finding your community if you haven't already found it. And if you have found that community is to be expanding. I'm hoping for myself to have that built here in this space with all of us together, hoping that I can help cultivate an environment, a space where spiritually minded individuals come together and create a collective experience that we can all learn and grow from. So that is the Three of Cups. And the last card that we pulled here is the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is a very beautiful energy. It is abundance, it is joy, it is happiness. I really feel that it is such a beautiful place to end the reading because it's almost everything that you're looking for. And I know it's not a major arcana. I know that it's not an exceptionally moving card. However, it is still one of the, if not the most beautiful cards in the deck. There is definitely a harmony arising and there's this sense of accomplishment that is coming with. And in that place, I would love to end the reading and ask you that if you resonated at all with anything in here and you would like to like, comment, or subscribe, I do ask that you do so we can help build this community together. And I thank you for your patience and your understanding, as this is also new for me, and as I'm finding my voice, there is likely some quality issues or some things for me to learn and grow from in regards to like the content and how I'll be doing this. I pulled more cards today in this reading than I did in my last one, and on my end set my reading and my space up in a different way than I did yesterday. There was more intent here, which is likely why there was more to be said or more cards to be pulled. Again, this is the Art of Spirit, thanking you for your time and your contribution. Please like, comment, or subscribe for any future readings or videos. Have a wonderful day.